captive audience. Have mercy. The next man I'd like to bring up is my assembly member for the 57th district. He represents like the Fort Greene area and wrote a letter recently to Democratic Chair Howard Dean to say that the people's will should be done and not that of a superdelegate. So please bring up Hakeem Jeffries.
First, for extending this invitation, for their generous introduction to the host committee, to all those in attendance, to my good friends and colleagues in government, Assemblyman Camara, Senator Parker. It's great to be here on this evening in support of this wonderful candidate. And as Yvette mentioned, I represent the New York 57th Assembly District in the New York State Assembly, which includes Fort Greene and Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, Crown Heights, and parts of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I know at least some of you in here are constituents in the communities that I represent, and it's wonderful to have been given the opportunity to represent you. Now, in communities all across this country, and inner cities all across this country, when you think about it, over the last couple of years, there's been a new generation of leaders who have risen up to reclaim the political process. In communities like Chicago, Illinois, communities like Newark, New Jersey, communities like Washington, D.C., and communities like Brooklyn, New York, a new generation of public servants has risen up and reclaimed the mantle of political leadership on behalf of our communities. And it wouldn't have been possible without the support of people like those in this room, people who were there in the beginning, people who believed in folks like Assemblyman Camara and Kevin Parker and Barack Obama when he first ran for the Illinois State Senate, and Cory Booker when he first ran for the City Council, Adrian Fenty, the youngest man in Washington, D.C. when he first ran for the council in the early part of this decade. It wouldn't have been possible without folks like those in this room, people who went to school with us, people who worked with us. Some of you even partied with us. I think I can say that because there's no media in the room. But now, that same energy that created this new generation of leadership has manifested itself into something incredible, where millions of people all across this country have come together behind the candidacy of Senator Barack Obama. A wonderful thing that people have come together and given us perhaps the first extraordinary opportunity to move this country in an entirely new direction since an assassin's bullet 40 years ago first struck down Martin Luther King and then struck down RFK. So that's where we're at. That's the significance of this moment and why we're out here today on this evening. But understand that the closer Senator Obama gets to the presidential nomination, the closer he gets to the, I was going to say the Black House, the closer he gets to the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't want to get him in trouble like his pastor.
Right.
The closer he gets to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the attacks are going to intensify. But when the attacks intensify, it's important to make sure that we intensify our support for him.
Yes.
And show the senator and show the country that we have Senator Barack Obama's back, and we're going to send him to the White House. Now, when you think about this country's history in closing, it's always been the case that whenever we face extraordinary times, extraordinary leaders have risen up to confront the challenges that the country was facing at the moment. So you had Abe Lincoln, who confronted a divided nation. Martin Luther King confronted Jim Crow. JFK confronted nuclear annihilation. Frederick Douglass confronted slavery. So in this time, there's a need for another extraordinary, inspirational leader when we have a failed war in Iraq and a crumbling domestic economy at home. In this time, the country needs another inspirational leader who can help us deal with the challenges of 2008. And I don't think I have to tell you that we know that person is the senator from Illinois, Barack Obama, the next president of the United States. Together,